Let's get into it. It's crime o'clock, yeah, feel that sound. Typically unique when the truth comes out. Tick-tock, won't stop, let the facts talk. Pull up real close, yeah, it's crime o'clock. Clock, clock, yeah. Typically new, neon signs glow, brick wall behind me. Headlines loud, but they never define me. They rush the story, skip the proof. I slow it down, let it show the truth. Files on deck, read every line. Timestamps matter, so does time. If it don't fit, I don't force the frame. Ask one question, whole story change. No fear my voice, no need to shout. Paper speaks when you read it out. If the math's off, I'll circle twice. Truth ain't loud, but it ain't nice. Yeah. Read it again. It's crime o'clock, yeah. Feel that sound. Typically unique when the truth comes out. Tick tock, won't stop. Let the facts talk. Pull up real close, yeah. It's crime o'clock. It's crime o'clock. Read it again. They sell a narrative if I sell receipts. Courtroom quiet, but the pages speak. Word for word, no added spin. Let it stand, yeah, let that sink in. Screenshot save, timeline's tight. Missing pieces keep me up at night. If they say elected, I say why. If they say case closed, I say try. No rush here, we do it right. Truth don't bend for the likes of hype. If you came for noise, you in the wrong spot. This is evidence, this is crime o'clock. Clock, clock, clock. Stay with me. This isn't background noise. This is pattern recognition. This is documents. This is crime o'clock. It's crime o'clock, yeah. Feel that sound. Typically unique when the truth comes out. Tick tock, won't stop. Let the facts talk. Say it with me now. Crime o'clock. It's crime o'clock. Typically unique. It's crime o'clock. Yeah. If you're here, you're early. If you're listening, you're paying attention. Show starts now.
Welcome back to Crime O'Clock on Typically Unique. Hello, hello, everybody. I'm so happy to see you in chat today. Oh, how many of us had a late night last night? I know I did, but I could not wait to come on here and talk with you about the Christopher Whitcomb interview for the book Broken Plea. I was so excited last night, even relieved to finally have a voice out there. Hopefully it's going to make it to more mainstream people to get it out there and have something finally happen in the Idaho 4 case. I felt verified for all of us that have been questioning this case. I hope none of you missed that interview last night. It was on the Devil's Advocates Crime After Dark channel. I put the link to the video in the description. Big shout out to Devil's Advocates for having that interview. It was amazing, I thought. We were all up late. Lots of coffee today. Lots of coffee. I know that it was not 1000% all rainbows and butterflies with people's feelings about everything with that interview. I get it. I was seeing some criticism and things like that. And to me, that's like, we're natural scrutinizers, I think, in this true crime community. So I get it. I'm not mad about that. My thought about that is, though, I'm going to focus on the appreciation for finally having somebody come out with a little with more credentials. I mean, the guy's a former FBI agent and journalist. That's like the best of both worlds. We've got somebody with high-ranking law enforcement experience and that journalism experience. How mad are we at mainstream journalists right now? So, I'm very happy that he's speaking out. He used his ability to publish. I don't know if it was luck involved, his connections. I mean, think about the connections you have if you've been and I think he mentioned he had some type of position as I don't know if he said writer or if he actually like went on as like a talking head on NBC. So I mean, he has impressive credentials. Um, so yeah, I was talking about like his possible connections. I just think that's powerful, and I'm glad that he wrote the book and is speaking out. And how awesome that he came to YouTubers first. I mean, yeah, I know he's probably recorded interviews with the mainstream. I want it to get out there to the mainstream. I cannot wait. Like, let's go. Right? Mainstream is useless. Well, I mean, useless as in they are not the investigative journalists of old, in my opinion. I don't, the pressures from their corporate ownership, money, 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 money has changed that. But I do see value in getting the information out. We want it out to think of all the people that are like, oh, Brian's guilty. DNA was on the sheath. They're the ones just watching the news, the regular news stations. So they're never going to hear it. They don't come to YouTube and dig into things like we do. Right. So we need that to, if there's contradictions in the narrative that has been out there, then that needs to get put out there, and he's doing it. So I'm not going to, what's the saying? Bite the hand that feeds us or like that. So I took a lot of notes yesterday when I was watching the interview. I thought the interview was well done. I can't imagine how nervous I would be because I haven't officially interviewed anybody on the channel yet, except Twiz. I wouldn't call that an interview, but we had him up as a guest. But it's nerve-wracking. Even going on other channels to be the guest, it's nerve-wracking to me. So Devil's Advocates did a great job. That was another thing. Like, I know that we were all putting in super chat questions and stuff like that. And when you all of a sudden have a live that like all of a sudden there's like tons of people in there and you're getting questions left and right. It's, I hope we can all be understanding that they did the best they can. Twiz is watching. Twiz is always watching. Let me say hello to Skull. Hello, Christy, Jessie Lynn, Love and Other Habits, Becca, Witchy Was, SRB, all the mods that are in here. Thank you so much. Hey, Panda Hug. Let's see. Karmic Retribution. Hello. Ass-tastic. Gen 7S. Pretty much Finland. Chris Whitcomb did give a lot of credit. Like, he knows, like, this is a worldwide case. Everybody's covering it. He gave massive respect to YouTubers. I mean, I'm going to play that clip later. And because I at first thought that he, maybe before the book, like he said he went into it like not being on YouTube, he wasn't even questioning the case. He just thought it was what it was, what the narrative was. They got DNA or whatever. It wasn't until I think he said a colleague, kind of sat down with them, was discussing the case. And then he was like, oh, and started questioning things. So I think once, I don't know the timeline. I just think somewhere along the way, he did start looking at all the people that are investigating this case online, and he had a lot of respect for that. So that's good to hear, you guys. That's good to hear. Someone out there isn't saying we're crazy conspiracy theorists, right? Hey, Christina. Yep. Good morning, everybody. Okay. So I'm going to start. Let's start with this. Let's start with a great big positive thing. And I am wondering, because they said they hurried up and went live last night because Barnes and Noble accidentally sent out like 30,000 copies of the book. I mean, the number doesn't matter. Then what matters is people that were on the wait list for the book. Like I have the book saved on Amazon and I'm supposed to get it April 28th when it's released. People who did that at Barnes and Noble, they accidentally shipped out copies of the book. So the book's already out there in the public hands. Something else happened, people were just getting their hands on it. So they hurried up and did the interview last night. But my point is, what about the rest of us that didn't get the early access to the book? Do we still got to wait? What's today? 6 more days? Do we still have to wait 6 more days for this book? Can't they just release the audio one right now? Like, just release it. Anybody? I don't think that could be an accident either, like shipping them out from Barnes and Noble. I don't know. My Amazon still says April 28th too. Yep. Oh, Skull, you missed a lot. I'm going to hit, I think I pretty much covered, or I jotted down everything that he said. So Becca, are you serious? Your daughter went in to order it and they gave it to her. Now that I could see, because I'm telling you, Gen Z, they don't care. They don't care. They're like, oh, you want the book? Oh, here. Good old Gen Z. All right. So I've got clips picked out. I've got information that I jotted down, and he mentioned information that we've seen photos of. So I went in to the photos, the released ISP photos this morning, and I screenshot the ones that he mentioned so we can look at what he was talking about. The other thing I want to say about him, I had to do this a lot in my job. In education at one time, there was a massive change with research coming out and new ways of doing things and new philosophies and things like that, and resistance to change. So his situation isn't about, well, it's about changing perspective, right? It's about scrutinizing a theory. When that happens and you're speaking about it, to people who are already mad that the thing is happening anyways, you have to speak very carefully. You got to watch your words, because if you're trying to make change, right? If you're trying to make change, and that change has to come from the people that you could possibly be scrutinizing, you tread lightly. You have to tread lightly. So I know that a lot of us heard the words coming out of his mouth about certain people involved in this case, and we're like, how can he say that? Why would he say that? Well, because if you want change, you can't go around like just destroying people, because you'll just get shut down. Like, you'll just get shut down. So I hope that we can all like see that and let the process happen, right? It's gonna be, you gotta like, I always say, I told you I collected quotes. You go slow now so you can go fast later. Okay. So keep that in mind. Go slow now. He wrote the book. He's coming out and he's talking about it. He's not going all ham, trashing people. He's watching his words, because it's a very sensitive subject, I feel. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. Can't burn those bridges. That's right. That's right. Yep. Yep. Okay, so let's start with this boom that I thought. Right down all the way at the end. He like pretty much ended with pretty much, you guys, pretty much ended with this. And what did I write down? This is like the 4-hour and 4-minute mark of the live last night. Let me get it. I'm just going to get close. There we go. We'll start there.
You're talking. Can you help me out with that?
Yeah, for sure. I'll help her. I'll help her get the contact info. Yeah.
You give her my phone number and give her my email address, and so sorry for that miscommunication. But anyways, I truly believe that this book could be a blueprint for moving forward in this and other cases and looking at these things in a new way. I don't want to go on. I'm not going to malign anybody, but I don't want to go on to many of the well-known mainstream media sites and listen to theories and nonsense and things that don't make any sense, where people all postulate and come up with theories. I want to generate a community of people who look at things, the system, and learn about various elements of criminology and about jurisprudence, so that we can look at all kinds of cases. The next case, the next Nancy Guthrie comes up, or whatever the next murder, there'll be another one soon, that we could start to talk about these things in more meaningful ways.
See, like, I'm not going to take that as a slam to us. Like, we do look at other cases, right? There's people on here that have been doing this for years and years and years and years. Oh, and I just celebrated, Carlos and I just got the notification from YouTube. It was 3 years, 3-year anniversary over here for Typically Unique. So that was exciting. So yeah, we've covered lots of cases, and I'm not putting him down because he's not acknowledging that. He's excited to do more is the way I'm taking that. So
that's what I hope comes out of this book. That's the answer to that question.
A great point.
And I know, Chris, you've got a lot of stuff lined up. You've got Birdie Bombshells tomorrow. You've got the Custody Queens lined up. There's going to be other people that are going to be lining up for you. I want to say that a lot of people don't give respect to YouTubers like you did. You coming on first to YouTube to address us is phenomenal. That you showed respect to the true crime community, and you realize that we have a value. And so again, I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done.
Well, I believe it, guys. I do have well-deserved respect for what you do. I can't say that about some of the sites, because it's just people ranting about nonsense. This is not the case here. You're inquirers. You have expertise. you have intelligence, and you have the patience to talk through something. We couldn't do this in a 30-second soundbite for certain for things like that. I have a lot of gratitude and a lot of respect for what you guys do. I appreciate you bringing me on here. I hope we got something accomplished. I mean, we talked a long time.
We did.
Oh God.
And
You,
and as
you
one author,
4 hours, then yeah.
yeah, and as one author to another, I'm someone who has to research for her books extensively. I can tell everyone out there the research that you have put into your book is exemplary. So I commend you and thank you.
All right. Yeah, I can't imagine. I've always wanted to write a book, especially I tell you guys all the time, because we started our channel for another reason, a personal story. I've always wanted to do that. So it's freaks me out when I think about it. All right, what's going on here? Why is this? Where's the shrink button? What is it? What? Do I have this too big? Mhm. Okay.
Burger. I believe the police officer.
Okay. All right. So big shout out to YouTubers. I wanted to start with that. That was amazing. All right. Now here was the big bombshell that I was like, oh my God, I got goosebumps when I heard him say this. Where is it at? It's going to be
about when she left, how she left, or anything else. And she did get a lawyer immediately, or very, very, very quickly.
Okay. So it's right after he's talking about, I think, the injuries, like Kaylee's injuries.
Good Lord, man. You've done so much work on the book, and for you to spend time like this answering questions, and I know you got other shows lined up and you got more work to do. Bless you for doing what you've done. You've opened up huge amounts of inquiry, which we're going to be chewing on for a long time. And I do think that there's more coming out, and I think we're just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, I would say the book's the tip of the iceberg. And I would say this, guys, look, the way the work.
Tip of the iceberg. And shout out to Dago, because I think he's the one that's going to ask this question.
The book world works at my level is you sell a book and you get an advance, and that's probably all you're ever going to get, right? So I've already gotten paid to write the book. I'm not going to get anything. I could sell one copy or 100. But I would say talking about this is one thing, but the book lays things out in a manner that makes sense.
I might have missed it. I might have to
and
rewind.
will generate conversation moving forward in a way that is constructive, right? And I think you guys have read the book. I hope you would agree with that. Talking about this in the podcast is one thing because we're hitting on individual points, but it's not laid out. It's a jigsaw puzzle. And we've talked about individual collaborations of pieces, but I have tried in the book to lay out the larger picture, the entire puzzle put together.
Well, what I'm appreciative of is that we've had 25 pieces out of 100-piece puzzle, and he's giving us probably 50 more pieces, in my opinion. So getting more pieces of that puzzle to try to put things back together, and that's amazing. I don't know why I'm having a hard time finding the part that I want, but it'll come
together. And I don't think that these things that we talk about in this setting make as much sense unless you read the book. And listen, the timeline in the book and other elements, you guys that that have read it, those things alone as reference material will generate things from here. So, all
right. I got to back up.
Marks across Kaylee Gonzalez's mouth. Steve even kind of hinted like this with his motion with his hand that somebody had done this to her face.
It's right after that.
In trying to say it is that it would have been virtually impossible to identify any single mark on her face.
This is so sad.
I think that's impossible.
Trigger warning about injuries.
And to say what you didn't say, one of the officers said they couldn't even tell what they were looking at.
So there is sensitive triggering information about the interviews during this or about the victims during this interview. So be aware. He's talking about it right now, but right after this, I believe, is when he's going to say what I have been waiting. We've all been waiting for.
Kaylee was so disfigured that they couldn't tell what they were looking at.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. There's no way. I will say there are those 4 signature wounds on each of the 2 were proximal to her face. And you could, at one point during autopsy, tell what they were, and they were extraordinary, right? But I don't think it is, based on everything I've seen, and I've seen, I mean, I don't want to get into it. I don't think it's possible that you could discern one specific injury to her face. I don't think so.
Good point.
Yeah, fair enough.
Do you?
Wow.
Do
And
you
it's, you know, yeah, go ahead, Diego.
Here it comes.
just real quick, I'm sorry. Do you expect, Chris, or see a possibility of anything more coming from this case in the future at any point, possibly?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
The silence. I think everybody was like, "A what? What did he just say? What did he just say?" I mean, I'm so happy Dago asked that question. Do you see anything more coming from this case? I think that's how he worded it. No hesitation. No hesitation. Just yes. Just yes. And I know that there are people on YouTube that have been saying something's coming, something's coming. Everybody's gotten excited about that, you know. So yeah. That I just wanted to start off with that because oh my gosh. And I keep saying, we're not crazy. I'm not crazy. All right. So I'm just going to go down my notes, like some of the key topics that he spoke about and some information that he gave us. Now, chapter 1 is available. Okay. And that's one of the other reasons why they went ahead and moved up the interview and are not waiting because, I mean, if you watch the beginning of this, the pre-recorded interview where Devil's Advocates is just, he pre-recorded an interview with Christopher. There's like a lot of the questions, the author here, Christopher Whitcomb, said, well, that's just in the prologue. Like there was so much information just in the prologue. I do have it linked in my Discord. If anybody needs it, just ask. I'm sure someone will share the link. It's out there. It's widely public now. So it came from a site where I think it's mainly supposed to be for like booksellers. So you can go into this website and like read, right? Get a sample of the book and decide, do I want to buy this? And it's open to the public. So I guess it's for readers too. So readers can decide, is this a book that I want to buy? I felt just the prologue in chapter 1 had quite a bit of information that we didn't know before. So that was amazing. One of the things in chapter 1, I believe it was, and he talks about it on here, is that the way Ethan was positioned and found, and he explains how Ethan probably was moving, you know, during the attack, after the attack, and the way he ended up coming to his final rest was with one of his arms between the bed and the wall, I believe. And the big bombshell was that Ethan had hair in his hand, right? It was a blondish brown hair, and I think he estimated 6 to 8 inches. That's not Brian Koberger's hair. That's not Brian Koberger's hair. The only thing I think that it said that they did with the testing was that, well, the issue was that they labeled it debris, not hair. And then the way they tested it, like they didn't do DNA testing on it. They did not do DNA testing on it. If they did, they stopped at the type of hair. So probably, is it human? Is it male or female? Maybe. And what was the other one? Oh, just the characteristics, like the color of the hair and the length and all that stuff, I think. So that's a piece of evidence that's hanging out there. And then I think the bombshell that he said on the interview last night was that one of the criminologists, I think it was Turvey, he was talking about. So I have their reports right here. Trying to see what their official title is. So there's Paulette Sutton, and Paulette Sutton is for the prosecution. And I believe, and then Turvey is for the defense. And they are like the crime scene reconstructionists, right? Crime scene analysts. I don't know what their official title is. It is not at the top of this document. But Turvey went to the warehouse where we've seen the photos of those at the warehouse where they have the car, they have the mattresses, all the items from the house that were not being returned to the parents, that were being held on for evidence, like probably the large ones or boxed up stuff, is in this warehouse. And Turvey actually went there, right? He wanted to analyze the evidence. He actually went there and he looked at they said bed rail. So it's probably the box spring. I mean, we're not talking about a crib here, right? He said bed rail. So it's probably a part of the box spring. There was still hair there. There was still hair there at the warehouse. Yeah. I was dumbfounded by that. Now, hopefully they had the hair from Ethan's hand or not. Is the hair that was on the box spring, he called it a bed rail. Is that was that all the hair from the hand? And so I don't know how that works, but that was one of the big ones. The other thing, another big item he talked about, and see, I also think, the way I described him having to speak at the beginning of this, we're really going to have to be sleuthers and really take each point that he's discussing and decide, like, how is he saying this? Is there anything he's not saying? Are there hints in here? We're really going to have to look at that. So what is he talking about? I feel like he'll put more emphasis on certain things than others. But then again, is he giving us hints of what to dive into? His whole point is, hey, I can write books and I got my hands on this information and it didn't look right to me and other people, his colleague, they were discussing it. I'm going to provide it. It's like he's the vessel, right? He's the vessel. And he's like, I know you YouTubers are sleuths out there. Here you go. Do your digging, right? Do your digging. So he mentioned the black SUV. Okay. And on the Linda Lane footage, and saying that when you see it on I think the 1320 camera, leaving, pulling out, doing its moves, he focuses on the fact that that black SUV, first of all, the sound of it. And I know these are things that people have already picked out. Like I saw Mark B in the chat last night and he was like, he knew the times, he knew the, that's amazing. But I think he was, highlighting the fact that that SUV turned right after it came out of the King Road area, turned right onto Taylor. And then wherever it went, and then you can see it continuing past the dumpster cam on 1330, if I have those numbers right. I think the dumpster cam is 1330. And then wherever it goes, like he had, if you watch that clip, I'm not going to play every single clip on here. If you watch that, him explain it, wherever it goes, it's for a certain amount of time and comes back. I have been wondering if Ethan's apartment, because doesn't someone answer me in this chat that knows the neighborhood really well? Doesn't Taylor Avenue continue down towards the Sunset Mart, the 76er? Isn't that Taylor right there? It's like is it on the corner of Taylor and whatever that main road is? So I think that's curious. I'm just, I'm spitballing here. Okay. I'm rolling with things based off my notes. I wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about it. If we know that Ethan's apartment was behind the 76er, Lucy doesn't know nothing. Yes, you do, Lucy. Tell me. If Ethan's apartment is behind the 76er, that was said for sure. And that's, if I'm correct, that it is on Taylor. And if it's correct that Ethan had a problem with somebody at his apartment, does it all tie back to my theory? I'm still going with my theory from yesterday. So if you missed my live yesterday, I really think you guys would like it. I went through my thought process of a theory that makes sense to me. Even before hearing this author, it's just where I have been going with my mind for a long time. And I just finally came to a conclusion of the reason for these murders. And, I went through, why, what would the motive have been? If it's not Brian Kohberger, then why did they pick Brian Kohberger? And I went through all that. So I think this black SUV could possibly be tying in with that drug ring theory. To me, that's the motive that makes sense. He talked a lot about, so that black SUV comes back into the neighborhood at 4:30. Okay. And the way he described it, and this is one of the pictures I wanted to show you. The way he described it was that black SUV comes back. Oh, my photos better be here. You dirty dog. Come on. All right, give me 1 second because I uploaded all my photos to a slide and they're not showing up and it's on my iPad. I got to grab it. Give me 1 second. Okay. So I'm going to have to do my work live because I didn't keep my app open long enough for the pictures to go. So what I do is I go to my slides. Here, I'll show you. It should show it in real time. All right, so I got a blank slide. And why isn't it letting me add? Hold on. What are you doing? I'm going to insert my photos. It's not letting me. All right. There's always a solution. Sometimes I got to do it the long way. We're going to do it the long way. Oh my God. Let's do this. So I went through this morning and I picked out the photos, like I said, that go with the information that the author shared. Make sure I got all of them. I think I got like 18 photos or so. So I'm going to send them to my drive. And we're going to make a new folder. Again, thought I had this all prepared. I don't think I kept the app open long enough for the photos to go. So let me read some of your comments. Hi, Margaret. I honestly don't know how we can ever have a fair trial in the U.S. without having all the evidence. You know, that's one thing that I do personally disagree with Christopher Whitcomb about. I always call it now the legal system. He still calls it the justice system, and he talks about justice. You know, he has a bias though, because he worked for the FBI, right? I have a bias because I study true crime cases where many of them had innocent people in jail. So I think the system is broken. I think it needs an overhaul. I think pretty much every system we have in the United States is broken and needs an overhaul. Let's do this. This will be easier. So I'm not going to use my slides because it'll take too long. So I have the photo of whatever I was talking about. What was I talking about before I went to go look for the photos? What was I talking about before I went to go look for the photos? Hey, Kiss Me. Hey, Dago. Hey, Beach Babe. The Holly Berry. Hey, you guys. Hey, you guys. Good to see you. Okay, when I see the photo, I think it will, because I was talking about the black SUV, right? And the sound of it. And, oh no, Ethan's apartment. Oh, here. So here's a photo of Xana's room, right? Whoops. You know, and again, warning, we're going to look at some photos there, and there's going to be blood. So warning. They're saying that hair was between the wall and the mattress, and then you can see the white part underneath here. I think that's what they're calling the railing. I call it a box spring. I don't know, frame, whatever you want to call it. So I was looking for that when I was looking for this photo. I know Tomboy and I have talked about this, you guys. Look at that wall covering. I did not think that wall covering was right there next to the bed. I thought that wall covering was on the wall over by the door. But look how white that is. There's like not a spot on that thing. Are you telling me that thing was there when the crime happened and just miraculously didn't get a spot on it? I mean, look, I'm going to make it as big as I can. I see something there. I think, yep, that's on my computer screen. It's not on the actual thing. What do you think? And there's that stuffed animal that we see. There's a photo of Jack Showalter with that stuffed animal, and there's a photo of Connor Chestnut with that stuffed animal. So what I think is that one of the things that Christopher Whitcomb shared was that the experts went back and forth about items being moved after the crime in this case. And there is evidence, right? You can tell if someone is killed under a blanket, the blanket will be cut. If someone is under a blanket that is not bloody on top of the blanket and has no cuts, then that blanket was put there after the crime. And that is the case with Ethan. Ethan was covered with 2 blankets. I believe he told us. And they were after the crime, I believe. And so I just went looking for this photo and I'm like, oh, look at this white thing. So there's nothing on it. Look at all the spatter and stuff right next to it, right below it. I think there's something under there. I personally think there's something under there. What do you guys think might be under there? What would be under there that they would want to hide? What would be under that wall hanging that they would want to hide? Something that sounds like a firecracker? I think maybe bullet holes. I have no evidence for this. The only evidence I have for saying bullet holes is that Bethany saw and heard a firecracker, right? We always say it's never fireworks. It's never fireworks. Okay. So we're gonna keep this in mind. This little what do you call those? I know there's a name for them. You remember that being there? I thought it was on a different wall. I could be wrong because it's on the side of the bed. So Christopher Whitcomb did not talk about this photo, this wall hanging. He did not talk about this wall hanging. I'm bringing up this wall hanging because he talked about the hair being in Ethan's hand on the side of the bed. Okay. So I went looking for photos of what he talked about, and then that sparked this. Okay. All right. So I was talking about the black SUV, and that leads me to my photos. I remembered what I wanted to show you. So he talked about the SUV. I think this is the first one. Yep. Coming back, like he made it seem, I don't know all the times, he made it seem like it was maybe between like 4 and 4:30, 4:20 and 4:30. I don't know. It was like minutes. If I remember correctly. So he's talking about the SUV between maybe 4:20, 4:30 on the Linda Lane cameras. So I don't have that pulled up. We could go back and look at the Linda Lane cameras, look for this black SUV. And he stressed the sound of this vehicle. Okay. And I know we have our YouTube vehicle experts that have already pinpointed that stuff. At the end, after he says it drives away, which I was speculating. It seemed like it could possibly have been going towards Ethan's apartment. My idea. If Ethan's apartment is on Taylor Avenue down by the 76er, if that matches up, I got to verify that. Then he says that this SUV comes back. Oh, Dago, you're going to go into it further? Good. So I'm just hitting the highlights. Dago's going to dive into it. So perfect. See what a team we make. That's amazing. So he says that SUV comes back and parks, like, I think on the 1320. So it leaves from the 1320 Linda Lane parking lot, leaves for a little while. It might come back, leave, it's doing something. Okay. But then when it finally comes back at 4:30, it parks in the Linda Lane parking lot. And then I think he's speculating maybe, but he tries not to do that. The author, Christopher Whitcomb, is like, I'm not giving my theories. I'm trying not to speculate. He might have said speculate like maybe 2 times last night. So if you just stick with the facts, this black SUV parks and then you hear the door close. And I think he said someone puts a book bag in the back of the truck. And apparently you can see all this on the video. And then shortly thereafter, you see someone walking towards these apartments. And he asked, what are the names of these apartments? And he kept saying the apartments that don't have a door. And I'm like, what is he talking about? Don't have a door. So this is the Queen Road apartments right here. And this is the trash cans are in the driveway of 1122. So the person would have been coming from, the top of this road here. So we'll look. Okay, wait here. Okay. So here's a far away shot. So up at the top, if you look straight on that picture, so Queen Road apartments are right there to the right. The person's coming from up there, I believe, is how he described it. If I'm wrong, let me know in the chat. So he said there's no doors there. So then, okay, I'm looking at the picture closer. Whoops. Let me make this bigger. Is it this one? Nope, it's the other one. Nope, it's not this one either. I have it. Let me find it. So I'm looking for the no doors here. So I thought he was saying the guy would have been, Dago, you can correct me. I thought he said the guy would have been walking down here past Queen Road apartments, but there's doors here. There's doors on this side. So then was he talking about in between, like over here, in between the 2 Queen Road apartments? Are there no doors? Like, where's the side where there's no doors? And that's what I mean by listening to what Christopher Whitcomb says and then, diving into documents, photos, videos, and like figuring it out. Where's the side with no doors? And why is that important? Well, it's important because he's saying that's the direction where a person is seen at 4:30 a.m. walking towards the house. I also think this is my subliminal interpretation, is that I think he's putting emphasis on the Queen Road apartments. Okay. Hey, September Virgo. Hello, hello. Hey, Mike. The middle sections have doors. Okay, well then, Senor, explain this photo to me. Okay, because, man, I need to, let me open this with Cami, annotate. It might take a minute. Because I can draw on it, and then you guys can tell me. hope you guys can't hear me swallow. Okay. Share this tab instead. So I thought in between these two buildings here, right? Isn't this like building 1 and building 2? Do I have that part right? You know, and here's the house. You're saying that the doors are in between, they're facing each other? Don't ever say that again. Say what? What did I do? I thought I did something wrong. Oh my God, sorry. I'm sorry. Bloopers over here, you guys. Oh my God. Okay. So, okay, let me back up to this one. Wait, how do I switch in here? Oh, scroll. Scroll? It only did one, you dirty dog. All right. All right, so I don't need to beat that talk about that too much, but something to take note of, in my opinion. Black SUV on the Linda Lane cameras, the time 4:30, and tied to the Queen Road apartments and walking towards the house. Okay, so look how close. I thought this was a good perspective of how close. I know a lot of you know this already, but I like to see visuals of how close Queen Road apartments are right there to the house, like right there. And every single person that the police when they did their canvassing and they talked to all the people, we didn't hear anything. There is a person, like, look at that right there, like windows right there. They didn't hear anything. You're okay. Saber Sleuth Tiger, hello. How are you? Juror 13. Yeah, the black SUV is supposed to be really loud. All right. One of the other things that he talked about was the beer pong table. Okay. The beer pong table. And the curious thing about the beer pong table is the movement of it. Okay. So you can see right here how I'm going to call it like cockeyed, like vertical or diagonal it is, right? It's diagonal. I believe Dylan or Bethany in one of the interviews said that when they're not using it, they usually keep it straight over by the bar cart, like pushed over that way so you can get around it easier. So let's just visualize this for a second. If the beer pong table is positioned like this when the murder is happening, and the author he said, based on the evidence that he was looking at, I believe that, and I think also with what Turvey says, what the experts say in their reports. So I believe based on all of that, that Xana would have been attacked like at the bottom of the 3rd floor steps. And then, so on the top the top of the photo here. The top of the photo, and then trying to run around this ping pong table. You would throw that ping pong table if I was running for my life. I think he even discussed that, like it possibly would have been flipped. And he's saying that based on Bethany's interview, right? Bethany said, I heard, cups falling, beer pong table moving. Okay. So if that's what happened, why are the crime scene photos showing the table upright? So number one is, why is the beer pong table upright? Look at how perfectly these cups are set up. And we're supposed to believe that someone's running for their life to get over to Xana's room, which is to the bottom right, middle of the picture right, without touching that table. No way. And then I think I have another one there. So look at that photo. I think that's the way Dylan was saying that it was normally. That's the way it was normally. Oh, wait, you guys aren't seeing it. I'm sorry. I got to switch tabs. I'm going to try something. This. Can I open it? Let me see. Nope. All right, I had to go one photo at a time. That's okay. So issues with the beer pong table. We see it diagonal, straight. And I think this is the way that they always, and then here the bowl is on it. I don't think the bowl is always on it in every picture. I don't think the beer bottle is on it in every picture. So when the experts are making a claim, and I believe Christopher Whitcomb is going to talk about this in his book. So definitely want to endorse, purchasing his book, audio book or the real book, so we can get all this information and talk about it. This photo is showing how the beer pong table, Dylan describes it normally being, I'll call it like horizontal, like the parallel to the wall. We'll call it parallel to the wall. But it's been moved. And the experts are saying, look, there's a White Claw box on the half wall. Why is stuff getting moved around? That White Claw box is going to end up over on the floor by the top of the steps. Oh my God. I didn't even, and those of you that haven't watched the full interview yet, it's fascinating to hear. The author says that he actually went and bought a folding table just like this. He set up the beer pong solo cups, and he took liquid and he conducted his own experiment to try, because the issue was, I think what he's saying is there should have been, if there was splatter on the half wall, if there's cast off, if someone's in that room flinging around a bloody weapon or bloody body parts and splatter is landing on the half wall and even the far wall, why isn't it landing on the cups? There is some on the table, but why isn't there anything on the cups? And so he did an experiment to see, is that possible? And he said he could not make that happen. Every time he did it, it got on the cups. So, in my opinion, he was really hitting the points of the crime scene being tampered with, meaning things were moved. Okay. Not saying who did it, but somebody did it. Somebody moved stuff. And we all know that already. Right. And then the other thing is, Wait, things being moved. Oh, that was another point that he made, was that why, if there is splatter, so again, if someone who's bloody weapon, bloody clothing in the living room, splattering cast off, how are they not leaving blood on the floor? How is none of that miraculously not hitting the floor? Even a drop? Even a drop not hitting the floor. And he made it a point to say nothing on the floor in the living room or the kitchen, which are like common areas. It's all contained to the 2 bedrooms. So how is that possible? That's the sign of a cleanup. He even said there was nothing on the baseboards, not the baseboards, not the floor. Okay. Yeah, definitely talked about like the staging, right? The staging meaning like putting certain objects in certain places. And my issue is, to me, it looks like staging upon staging upon staging, because look at how many positions we see this beer pong table in. Do you know what else has a million different positions in the photos? That fuzzy white furry chair in Xana's room. It's by the door, it's by the bed, it's back over by the drawers, end table, it's shoved into the closet, or not the closet, the corner by the mirror. Like, oh my gosh. I don't know. There's definitely issues with, like I was saying, if there's blood on top of the blankets or underneath the blankets. And he said for sure that there was no blood on top of Ethan's covers. And I believe he also said that, let me see if I wrote it down. He said that for the girls. Okay. For the girls, he said, wait a minute. I might have it opposite. It was one or the other. Either all the blood was underneath or on top. Let me see. I need a back of this one. Sorry. All right. I had a moment on the live last night, so I'm going to show you this little clip. I was a lucky one that got my super chat read, so that was awesome. And I asked the question because I saw a lot of other people asking the same question in the chat, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, we got to answer that." Like if we have this guy here right now, we got to get this question answered. So let me find, I wrote down timestamps, 3 hours, 13 minutes. So if you go 3 hours and 13 minutes in, and I will share this. My question's going to come up, and it was disappointing, but still telling. We're going to stop it right there.
Nothing. There are no towels. There are no floor mats. There's nothing on the racks. There's nothing on the sink. I think there was a small thing of soap on the sink. There's no toothpaste, no toothbrush, no makeup, no mirrors, other than the one on the wall. Nothing of any kind. And there is no toilet paper.
Okay. After I share with you the question I asked, we'll go back and we'll look at the photos of this. So he is talking about the first floor bathroom. And in my notes, I wrote down, I think it's Turvey that mentions, or he suggests that the killers would have been in the nude, something about the killers being in the nude. and questioning how did the killer get out of the house without trailing any blood, them being able to tear Brian Koberger's car apart and not finding one single cell of the victims or nothing in his apartment, nothing back in Pennsylvania, all that stuff. I felt like Christopher Whitcomb here he was talking a lot about the bathroom on the first floor, and that's what he's talking about here. Okay. So I have a photo pulled up, couple photos. And his point was that it was like extra clean. It was like super clean, super clean, especially compared to the 2 other bathrooms in the house. So we'll go to that in a minute, and I'll let him finish saying this.
So one might ask the question, how did 2 college students who had been out drinking by what their statements to police had been drinking all night, and they spent 8 hours in a bathroom with no toilet paper, without going to the bathroom in that period of time. So that bathroom, when you see it, and I think these photographs are online now. I'm not sure how many are out there.
Wait a minute. What did he just say? Hold on. Listen carefully.
No mirrors other than the one on the wall. Nothing of any kind. And there is no toilet paper. So one might ask the question, how did 2 college students who had been out drinking by what their statements to police had been drinking all night, and they spent 8 hours in a bathroom with no...
What did he just say? He says they spent 8 hours in a bathroom. Did he misspeak? It could be, he could have misspoke. He could have misspoke. Because he is going on official documents. And our documents say that they were in the bedroom. Okay. So he could have misspoke. But he did say 8 hours in the bathroom. And he might have meant, how do they not, in 8 hours, how did they not go to the bathroom? Okay. So let's give all that benefit of the doubt. Okay. And just keep it in the back of your mind that maybe there's something to this bathroom. And I think that was his point anyways, is that it was super clean. Didn't look like the other bathrooms in the house. Freudian slip. Yeah. So maybe he doesn't mean that they really spent 8 hours in a bathroom. So let's not like take that and run with it. However, let's keep our eye on this first floor bathroom. Is that fair? That's fair, I think. Okay. They wore diapers. They came prepared with diapers. All right. So I don't know how many people noticed that, because I didn't hear him say that last night. And I listened to it again this morning, and I did not notice that he said that. This is the 3rd time that I'm listening to this, and I just caught it. Okay. Oh, he clears it up. Yeah. I'm going to continue playing it. Always continue playing it. Let's get the context. So I will back it up again. Okay.
Unidentified male DNA anywhere in the house, because there were a lot of things that were not identified. It's not nefarious. It's just
Fair.
the nature of that science.
Fair. Okay, 2 more then, right? Which is Sutton kind of, Turvey seems to say that Sutton's theory was that she was going with is that the killer was in the nude.
Right. I wrote that in a book because that's what Dr. Turvey said. Right. And
yes, Turvey said,
and, you know, when you interview someone, it's not really fair to interview them and then change their thinking. But what he really said was, and I saw it. I saw the context of the comment, that he went back to Ann Sutton and said, or excuse me, Paulette Sutton, and said various things about how could the killer have got out of the house? How do you get completely soaked in blood to the point where you're tossing it around the 2nd floor, soaked in blood? And from the time Xana, what we interpret to be 112 camera video at 4:17:32, is it? 4:17:30 something. From then to when we see the white car speeding away is maybe 3 minutes, and still had to kill them and get out of the house, get to the car, drive around, right? Very small period of time. So he went to her and said, how is it conceivable that not one cell of human DNA escaped the house? There was not a drop of blood found anywhere on the second floor of that house. How is that conceivable? How did the killer get out of the house without tracking this sea of blood on this large
We already
blood stain
talked about
on the
that.
floor of Xana's room? How did they get out of the house covered in blood, throwing blood all over the walls, whatever else? How did they get out of the house wearing those clothes and not get a drop of blood anywhere? Not get a drop of blood in the white car, in Koberger's car.
Oh, I backed up way too much. I'm sorry. I backed up way too much. What was the time I wanted? Yeah. Sorry. Sometimes this thing like moves after you set it. So okay, we'll go there. Okay.
Where they they believed it was Xana's, and then it was amended to the point where then they in turn said that it was actually Kaylee's. Is that the way that was presented, or is it being read the wrong way?
I'll have to let him discuss that because it's very complex for this reason. She submitted a report, he submitted his report, and then they had to reconcile the two because Brady goes both ways. The defense gave that report to the prosecution. It went both ways. Then she responded to it saying the placards were moved and the numbers were wrong, and she got these things wrong because things were happening. But it devolved very quickly after that because they came up with the idea that he had taken his clothes off. She was logically trying to refute things that he said. He was logically trying to refute things that she said. And then it came down to DNA analysis, and then it gets really complicated. But I can tell you this, one important thing is if you look at the beer pong table and where they found that blood stain in question, it is a diagonal stain looking from the kitchen toward the far wall on the left-hand side by that little brass console. And I like math and I love physics.
Sure.
And I cannot come up with a construct, a geometric construct that would explain in any way how that is conceivable, no matter whose blood it is. Mm-hmm. So I'm more concerned about the table than that specific wound. And I would also say, again, we're touching on things that are chapters in this book. But I do think somebody asked, one of your viewers, I hope, asked a question. Why did they find blood all over the walls and all over the various places of the house? Why was there no blood found anywhere on the common areas of the second floor? How's that possible?
Right.
And there are so many. So anyways.
Thank you, William. That was fast. I appreciate that. I started a goal, you guys. And William Tardy, so good to see you today, is kicking it off with that $5 super chat, super sticker. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We'll do this one. Greatly appreciated. Thank you, William. All right. Back to this video. I know I have to go back to the clarification of the 8 hours in the bathroom. We will go back there. We are going to go back there.
Somebody with a great name or $100, give us a question.
Well, this question's a really good one. I thought to you.
He didn't say my great name. So my question was, can he tell us time of death based on medical examiner? That's what I wanted to know. Okay. And if DoorDash was eaten. So I threw that in there. I didn't really, yes, we've always wondered about the DoorDash being eaten. But there were people in the chat asking that. So I thought, well, let me throw that on here. So I asked about time of death from the medical examiner. That's what I wanted to know.
Many of us will talk about the DoorDash delivery and time of death and whether Xana ate food or not. We don't hear anything in the records at all about stomach contents. If they were done, did they have digested food? Could we tell time of death by the digested food? Can you confirm? Did you see anything about the food in Xana's stomach, that she ate the food that was delivered supposedly at 4 a.m? Some people don't think that actually happened. What can you say about the food digested in the stomach?
I can say that I have, but that I can't discuss it. And I'm not avoiding the question, but I will say this, that, there's a
Okay. I knew I was onto something when he said, like, short and sweet, I have, and I can't discuss it. Okay. So DA asked it a little bit differently than the way I worded it. He was focusing more on the DoorDash stomach contents, which is fine. I mean, it's hard to interpret,
Thing about the food in Xana's stomach, that she ate the food that was delivered supposedly at 4 a.m. Some people don't think that actually happened. What can you say about the food digested in the stomach?
I can say that I have, but that I can't discuss it.
That was it. And I felt bad because, like, my first response in the chat was like, oh my God. To me, you guys, time of death is like the timeline, right? The timeline. And that's like crucial, but he's not touching that with a 10-foot pole. So, like I said at the beginning, when I started this live, sometimes we have to look at, what is he not saying? What is he not saying? Or, I don't think there's anything legal, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I spoke about this at the beginning of the live about how there's professionalism involved. He has to tread lightly. He has to tread lightly. That's my opinion, okay? And that's the approach I'm taking. I am going to be understanding with this author being vague about certain topics, okay? I'm not going to trash him about that because I can assume there's probably very good reasons. There's very good reasons. Even though he said, I can't talk about it, that is telling to us. That is telling to us that maybe somebody's looking into it behind the scenes. Maybe there's something really questionable that needs to be like legally looked into about that. Maybe it's just the fact that it's about the victims and he's not allowed to talk about the victims. I don't know. So, but he did say that he saw it. He saw the information, so he knows it. I haven't read the whole book yet. So maybe there will be some tidbits in that book that address it, right? Because he saw it and he's writing about what he saw in his book. So I'm going to hope for that. His book is about the victims. He does put, so Senor is making a case for the fact that it's probably not about protecting the victims. Good point. Good point. I don't think we have been allowed. I mean, definitely there's enough out there that's been spoken in the public about like autism and behaviors with Brian and stuff like that. Yes. And I do believe he spoke about Brian's behaviors on the live also. Oh, he was very, very open. He wants to talk to YouTubers. I mean, he was talking about like, phone numbers and emails and coming back on DAs. And I think he is very interested. He wants to see the YouTube investigators dive into this. Like I said at the beginning, like he's the vessel. He's the vessel. So let's read his book, which is his first vessel of giving us information that has been hidden from us by being redacted and silenced and sealed, right? So optimistic, but yeah, and we're critics naturally, I think, right? We're gonna side eye things, because that's like our tendency, right? We always want to see proof. All right, so he wouldn't answer my very much. He wouldn't answer my question.
And I'm not avoiding the question, but I will say this, that, there's a photograph of the DoorDash bag on the kitchen counter that says Xana. I don't know if that's made it out into the public, but
Yeah.
Yes.
then there's a picture
it has.
of the inside of the bag that shows what was in the bag. And then there's a picture of the stuff taken
Right.
out of the bag and placed on the countertop. And then there's a picture
Correct.
of all kinds of food on the floor of her room where she was murdered. So
Yeah.
I don't,
Right. Yeah.
you could argue that she was ran down the hallway with French fries in her hand. And that's certainly plausible because of how quickly it happened.
Okay, right there. This is one of the things that, like, me personally, I need to go through each statement that he says and really listen closely. What is he saying? So let me pull this up. He was talking about, let me share this. These photos right here. Okay. So there's the bag. Okay. So this is in the kitchen. We all know that. Now remember, he has seen documents that we have not seen. He has seen information we have not seen. And then you get this view of it. There's wrappers in here. There's wrappers. There are French fries in Xana's room. I even saw a photo where it looks like French fries on the hallway floor in front of her room. How did those French fries get there if the container for the French fries is here? Now, I do think there was a plate. Are we saying that she put all that? I don't know. That she took everything out of the wrappers, put it neatly on a plate? Maybe. I think maybe he was hinting at this possibly being moved items. I don't know. Is there something to this DoorDash? He also skims right over Molly McMichael, I think. Oh, I wasn't sharing. Shoot. Here, let me show you. We've all seen these photos. So you got the bag there. We all know it's weird, I think, that the name is just written in marker like that. Usually they print that out. Usually it's like the receipt with your name on it, like taped or oh my God, I can't talk. Taped or stapled to the bag, right? I don't even know what this is. This looks like a hi, my name is sticker someone put on. I think it does say order blank of blank, though. Who knows? Looks generic. That looks generic to me. I think Christopher Whitcomb was maybe hinting at, because he made it seem like, well, what did she do? Put the French fries in her hand and run down the hallway with the fries in her hand? That's what I heard him say. So that's why I'm thinking, is he trying to tell us something? I would love to see that.
That's getting great
Jules-
questions. And I could answer them. It's getting a little bit in the weeds for where we are right now, if you ask me.
Sure. Jules from True Crime Reactions had put in a public records request and obtained a bombshell type audio from about 2:27 to 3 something in the morning. It contained horrific screams that were heard on the 1112 audio that many people believe were consistent with the sound of the murders that you would expect to hear, and the utter lack of those same kind of sounds during the.
Okay, I'm going to stop that. And I missed Skull. I saw your gifted membership. Where did it go? Oh my goodness. Sorry about that. There it is. Skull gifting a membership to somebody. Let me see who got that. I got to go over here. Make sure you thank Skull Mackay in the chat if you were the one that received that. Oh my gosh, it won't go back far enough. I am so sorry about that. Thank you, Skull. You're the best. You're the best. Turning people green over here. Thank you. Thank you. And I know we like this one the best.
Clock it. So I gotta say thank you. Clock it.
The casual dismissal of the DoorDash has nothing to do with this crime. He missed the point. The casual dismissal of the DoorDash has nothing to do with this crime. What is Jules' camp? I mean, everybody's going to think how they want to think. I'm not going to slam anybody for that, but here's what I would not like to see happen is I would not like to see us like be so critical of this guy that could possibly, I mean, he's someone who is giving us, and he's talking about unredacted footage and documents, giving us names, okay? Giving us the names that we have not been able to see for 3 years. Okay? I want to appreciate that. Is he going to be perfect? No. Are there going to be things he can't talk about? Yes. Is he probably treading lightly? Yes. Could there be issues with him and what he's doing? Yes. But at this moment, it's been 1 day. It's been 1 day. I'm going to give the guy a chance. So I'm going to give the guy a chance. I haven't even read the book yet. So I'm going to make sure I read the book. Just by looking at what has been released with the first chapter, and then there was also a supplemental document for chapter 9 that had all those timestamps for the timeline. I mean, and he's not writing this book based on his opinion. He didn't write this book as a fiction story. He's writing this book as off the documents with the information that he has seen that we have not seen. So I'm not telling anybody how to think, but I am going to definitely endorse kindness and waiting to totally cast judgment until like we're all able to read the book. He's going to be giving a ton of interviews. We saw like one interview. There's another interview tonight. Things like that. And I'm not bashing Jules or anybody else that has questions. Like we have questions. Like that's fine. Like I said, we're critical naturally, right? I just know that bandwagons can be hopped on and run over people. So I'm just advising caution. That's it. That's it. Becky. Hello. Dig the past. How you doing? Good to see you. All right. So back, I just want to cover all the highlights of things that, because there's going to be another interview tonight. So and just beware, and I'm sure you guys know this, but when authors go on tour talking about their book and being interviewed, they're going to say the same thing over and over and over and over again. Okay. Now, because this is a case and there's questions we have probably outside of the book, I do believe we will get more and more nuggets the more this guy talks. Okay. That's what I'm hoping. Oh, he also talked about the door being open. Okay. And I focused on that front door of the King Road house, the 1122, the victim's house. When was it open? Because that one dog walker said that he saw the door open. Okay. And then I was paying attention to the canvassing neighborhoods. Hey, Susan Silverstein, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. 2 towards our goal. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so the door being open. I know there was one person who lived at the Queen Road Apartments, and he said he went to work at like 7 a.m., I believe, and the door was not open. Okay, so I was like, or maybe it was 8 a.m. At 8 a.m., the door was not open. So I was like, okay, well, then the door didn't get open until after 8 a.m. That was my own sleuthing. Christopher Whitcomb is letting us know that the door was open between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Take this down so we can talk a little bit better. It's okay, altruistic murder. Yeah, if you guys, we don't ignore comments on purpose. We try to I'm just talking about creators, we do have to make sure we go back to the chat to read what people are saying, but I've got information I'm reading. I've got videos I'm showing, we get distracted. I'm sorry. So you said there's 2 interviews tonight, the custody queens and Birdie. Oh, wow. That's interesting. I'll have to look into that. So I'm wondering if they're doing the same thing. Are they dropping premieres? And then do either of them have him on live tonight? Are they both having him on live? I will look for your answer in the chat. Hi, Crime and Chaos. How are you? Yeah. Oh, that's a good catch. Wait, did it go? It didn't show. Let me see. Right there. Isn't Saber Sleuth Tiger says, isn't that the name of the dispatch company in Pullman, Wickham? I believe so, but it's spelled differently. So the author's name is WHITCOMB, like comb your hair. And the 911 is com, like .com. So all you know, hi, altruistic murder. All you know is that they both have Chris on tonight. Okay, great. You guys can post the links for those if you want in here. I'm all for promoting and sharing each other. Hey, Red Zebra 16, hit that like button, please. All right. So the doors open between 9 and 11. And he said because they know that because of the dog walker. So then he was just posing the question. So then is the door closed? Or how does the door get closed? Because when Hunter goes over close to noon, that the door is closed, right? Because there's confusion if he had to put in the code or not. All right. The second floor, the slider doors open when the cops arrive. Ooh, this was interesting. This was interesting. He talked about the temperature. So he said there's a photo. And I did not pull up a photo of the kitchen, but he said there's a photo of the kitchen that shows the thermostat. And he said that thermostat read 68 degrees or 69 degrees. If the front doors open for a couple hours, and there's evidence of that. There's evidence of that. So let me show you this. Evidence of the front door being open. Okay. This is where the front door is in the hallway. You can't see it. Leaves everywhere. Right? I mean, we might track in some leaves into my house, but these were everywhere, even in the bathroom. So this door, this room has a door. And it also, you would have to go, let me see if it shows it. I don't know if it shows it. Okay. Let's do this. That leaf in the bathroom would have to blow in straight through the front door, hook a right, and go straight into the bathroom, which, I mean, they're like feathers. They could blow anywhere. But I guess it's just interesting that there's leaves in the bathroom. And there's the white claw box. He talks about the white claw boxes. So pay attention to those. There's the leaf in the bathroom. And he also talks a lot about the bathroom. But before I move on to the bathroom, his point was we're not going to stare at a toilet. We'll stare at the leaf. If the slider door is open and the front door is open for a while, and it was 28 degrees outside that night. It was 28 degrees outside that night. He said that house would have been, the heat just would have been on constantly, trying to keep the house warm. That's what the heaters does. So he was saying the upstairs would have been like so hot. And that's it. He didn't really expand on that, but it sounds like he really doesn't want to expand too much. He wants to just give us the information. So I think when he does, it's important to pay attention and see how we can use that. How do we use that information? Okay, to the bathroom. He was talking about the cleanliness of it. He just was like, it was like extra clean. I'm going the wrong way. Okay. No toilet paper. Oh, and I need to go back. Remind me, I got to go back to that part of the video where he was saying accidentally about the 8 hours in the bathroom. So he said this was extra clean. Didn't compare to. Now, see, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. So look in the tub. There is some kind of stain, mold, mildew in the tub. The things that I have in red are little like scraps of toilet paper, I thought. This is the first floor bathroom. There's a can in there, and there's the fireball outside the room. I thought I had another photo. Let me see if I can put this up. So, oh no, wait a minute. I thought there was a stain on the on the shower curtain, because I thought with Turvey talking about the naked guy, the cleanliness of the bathroom, right here, I don't know if you can see there is a stain that would be hard to clean off on the seam right there. So again, could be mildew. Who knows? But if this room was used for cleaning, because he said that there was mention of naked people, right? He was addressing the naked people. Lucy says, wait, what my clip was on? When she went up 2 flights of stairs, did she not notice the kitchen slider open? Yes. That's in that document for chapter 9, right? Saying that Dylan went up 2 flights of steps, and we were talking about that on Dago's live yesterday, and I think we said it was like 130 or 160 steps that she took. You would think part of that would be the kitchen. Why not? I don't know. Would you shut the door or were you opening the door? I don't know. Wade Bird, are you being funny? Are you being funny? Is this sarcasm? Because you know who always talks about the foundation in the tub, right? What if this all comes back to something underneath that bathtub? The other thing the author said is that I believe he said he thinks that there's something about that first floor bedroom. I think he said bedroom. But before I go on any further, let me go back. I don't want to leave that 8 hours in the bathroom statement hanging out there. So let me find where he was talking about that.
Or excuse me, Paulette Sutton had said various things about how could the killer have got out of the house? How do you get completely soaked in blood to the point where you're tossing it around the second floor, soaked in blood? And from the time Xana, what we interpret to be 112 camera video at 4:17:32, is it? 4:17:30 something. From then to when we see the white car speeding away is maybe 3 minutes, and still had to kill them and get out of the house, get to the car, drive around, right? Very small period of time. So he went to her and said, how is it conceivable that not one cell of human DNA escaped the house? There was not a drop of blood found anywhere on the second floor of that house. How is that conceivable? How did the killer get out of the house without tracking this sea of blood on this large blood stain on the floor of Xana's room? How did they get out of the house covered in blood, throwing blood all over the walls, whatever else? How did they get out of the house wearing those clothes and not get a drop of blood anywhere?
Okay, this is where the naked guy theory is going to come in, and then that's going to tie to the bathroom. Wade Bird. Okay, I was just joking because Jeff H always talks about the foundation in the bathroom. So yeah, actual statement. It was a social media post by Xana, I believe, or a comment she left. And I think she left it that night. So yes, that was a real thing. Take a shower and change your clothes. Could be.
Not get a drop of blood in the white car, in Koberger's car, or his apartment, or his house in Albertsville. How is that conceivable? Like the knife sheath, DNA in a knife sheath was a very small number of human cells. It was essentially microscopic, right? So how is that possible?
I always call it the invisible DNA. They got miraculous results from invisible DNA, but they had solid blood evidence in like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 spots in that house. And they were just horrible. They were trash. They were just trash. Couldn't get anything from the solid blood that we could see with a naked eye. Couldn't do anything with that. That's my rant. Oh my goodness. September Virgo, that ladder. I hope he talks about that ladder in his book. I hope he talks about, I should have asked a question last night, or maybe I'll ask tonight about that ladder. Like, does he think that would be, what do they call it? Probative. So when you look at all the evidence at a crime scene, you have to pick out what evidence am I seeing that's going to tell us something, right? One thing I love about Glitch DNA Labs, she talks a lot about probative evidence and other countries. She has learned a lot about how other countries conduct their crime investigations, and they don't really nitpick. Like she said, they just test everything, right? They don't want to miss something that could potentially be important to a case. I love that. I love that. Let me see more comments. Saber Sleuth Tiger, the photographer who took the blood dripping from the foundation, was named Derek Shook. Oh, okay. I know. That's why I was asking Wade Bird if she was being sarcastic about the foundation comment. Yep.
And Sutton's answer to Turvey, and I summarized, but this is very closely summarized, was that he took off his clothes and cleaned up. And that leads us to your next question, which is the bathroom on the first floor. Okay. So I don't know that she said specifically that he was running around the house naked committing these crimes, but that was the interpretation that he took off his clothes, which means that he would certainly have had to have been naked, which does not comport with what Dylan Mortensen saw, a man clad head to toe in black, right? So there's major gaps, but that leads us to the first floor bathroom. You look at photographs of the third floor bathroom.
All right, here we go.
It looks like a third floor bathroom for 4 college students living in.
Okay, this is the part that I want to clear up. Okay, so I didn't want to leave us hanging with that and, have something that I said be completely wrong and run with and stuff like that. So let's clear this up.
In a house, and 2 people shared it. Then you look at the second floor bathroom, and it looks the same, except that it has a washer and dryer, so it has clothing. But they're a mess. They got makeup, they've got toothpaste, they've got toothbrushes, they've got soap and loofahs and trash cans full of stuff and toilet paper. You go to the bathroom on the first floor, there is nothing. There are no towels, there are no floor mats, there's nothing on the racks, there's nothing on the sink. I think there was a small thing of soap on the sink. There's no toothpaste, no toothbrush, no makeup, no mirrors, other than the one on the wall. Nothing of any kind, and there is no toilet paper. So one might ask the question, how did 2 college students who had been out drinking by what their statements to police had been drinking all night, and they spent 8 hours in a bathroom with no toilet paper, without going to the bathroom in that period of time. So that bathroom, when you see it, and I think these photographs are online now, I'm not sure how many are out there.
Yeah, there are quite a lot of the pictures of the bathroom and stuff.
So look at that bathroom. And I ask the average person, does it stand out as odd that bathroom is that clean? So Turvey, who will speak for himself more eloquently than I can, and Paulette Sutton talked about the fact that the killer may have gone downstairs and cleaned up in the bathroom.
Okay. I did have Turvey's expert rebuttal report back to Sutton. I have that pulled out. If you guys were here for my live where I went over the Sutton report, that was the day I had a big mix up with my document camera. But I never went over Turvey's. So I'm going to do that tomorrow to look at what he's talking about here. I see your comments. So Wade Bird, where did these girls actually have their rooms? Well, I think he misspoke and he said they spent 8 hours in the bathroom, but I think what he's meaning is that they were in Bethany's room. That's what the information says. But the closest bathroom, how did they spend 8 hours in that bathroom after drinking? You know, you got to get up and use the bathroom. And there in that bathroom, there was no toilet paper. There was no washcloth. There wasn't anything. So that's what he's talking about right now. And I want to hear him clear up the 8 hours comment.
And that's where the naked running around the house nude thing came from. That's what that's about. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I had one extra question about Murphy because I thought it was interesting. We have so many questions in the chat. You could be here.
Wait a minute. He did not clear up that comment. He did not clear. Does he go back to it later? I'm going to leave it here then. I'm just going to let it hang out there. I guess that's a good tease for you guys. Go back to this interview over at Devil's Advocates, Crime After Dark, and watch the interview again. This is the live interview that I'm looking at. It's not the pre-recorded one. So the live interview starts about an hour and 45 minutes or so in. And see if he clears up the girls spent 8 hours in the bathroom comment. Okay. And if he doesn't, I'm not going to run away with that and be like, oh my God, they're in the bathroom for 8 hours. I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to be looking for it in the book. And just keep my radar up. Like, was that something or not something? I do think I do think the important point he's making is someone cleaned up. Someone cleaned themselves up because there's not one drop of blood outside that house. And then they also cleaned because there's not one drop of blood on any of the floors. Not the first floor, not the second floor, not the third floor, not the kitchen. Right? So, and those are two big things that were not addressed in this case. Right? All right. I got a couple more things. He mentioned the word, how do I want to say this? He referred to, he talked about Brian Kober's interview in Pennsylvania, and he did hear it. So it does exist. He did hear it. He wouldn't say specifics about it. So I loved listening to Dago last night and in the chat, like everybody in the chat was like, FOIA that. So that's something to keep your eye on tonight too, when we watch the interviews. This author heard Brian Koberger's interview in Pennsylvania, and the panel up here asked if there was anything of importance in that. He said yes. He did say yes, but he wouldn't tell us what. So the question was there anything of importance in Brian Koberger's interview? And he said yes. So we got to be on the lookout for that. And then the question about, did he say the comment, like, I can't wait to be exonerated? And he said that, like, in that interview, he was implying he didn't do it. So that was interesting. Nothing about Cy Ray last night. So you guys, in these next couple interviews, it would be good to get some information about that cell data and like the whole Cy Ray debacle and all that stuff. I hope that's in the book. I think that book's going to be jam-packed because I thought there was so much just in chapter 1. The prologue in chapter 1 had like a lot of information. So the only other thing that, two more. He said Murphy is critical. So everybody that was, I know Jules and Lana, they were really diving into the time that Murphy spent at the Pound. I'm just going to call it Pound. I don't know what it is. The paperwork is missing. So I don't think we're crazy to question Murphy's whereabouts. How did he get outside? Why didn't he go back inside? All the sightings, if we see him on the video cameras. To me, the author was verifying that, like justifying that. He said that I wrote down Murphy is critical. He didn't say interesting. He said, I believe he said critical. And also that Murphy was outside till 5 a.m. And there's one other thing. Oh, the injuries. Okay. And I'm going to end with this because it's going to tie back to my theory from yesterday. So if you did not see my live yesterday, I am going to edit it down into I did like a presentation of my theory of what the motive would be, why they would be covering up who the real killers are, why they would target Brian Kohberger. Okay. And I try to do it in a very concise, and it's visual. So I'm just going to put that out as a video. So look for that later today or tomorrow. And it goes to the wounds of Kaylee and Maddie. So it seems like the author is going to really talk a lot about injuries and things like that in the book. And one of the things that he shared on the interview that he did last night was that Kaylee and Maddie had like 4, I believe he said, exact. What was the word? Signature, unusual, obvious wounds. Kaylee and Maddie had 4 wounds that were the same. They were unusual. They were obvious. And they were signature. That's telling. That's telling, especially that word signature. And he also said they had one of those 4 wounds was something on their left shoulder. Something on their left shoulder. And so that's the facts that the author shared. And this is his mission of what he's doing. Provide the information, let the online sleuthers, investigators, FOIA, ask questions, put things out to the public. We need to dig into it, right? So what are these 4 wounds? What can we do with that information, right? The first thing I thought of with a signature wound would be a gang sign, a gang symbol, or some other kind of symbol. I don't think you'd be that obvious, though. I don't think you would be that obvious. Or a symbol with some type of meaning, right? Yeah. Yeah, this is worse. This crime now looks worse than what me personally, than what I originally thought. That's horrific. That's horrific. So, yeah, I think I have shared all the big pieces of information that, I personally got out of the interview last night. I'm sure I missed some things and there's lots of details. So I'm just so excited about this. I am excited about this book because he said so he did a 2-hour live interview with Devil's Advocates. And he said he probably touched on topics that cover about 30 pages of the book. and it's a 448 page book. So there's got to be so much more in there. So I'm excited about that. And speaking of the book, I am going to give you guys, I'm going to put my Discord link in here in chat, and I have a book club forum going on. And we are already messaging each other in there about our thoughts about the book and now about the author. So if you want a chance to drop your ideas about the book, and when the book comes out, we'll set a schedule. And I got to do a book giveaway. I got to schedule that for tomorrow. So I'm going to give one copy of the book away tomorrow. So please join me back tomorrow for that. Your chance to win one copy I'm going to give away, and join the Discord and join our book discussion group over there too. And we'll set up a plan for how to break up a discussion about the book. Dylan, you join and just listen, okay? Listen to the audiobook. That's what my husband does. So Carlos is going to listen to the audiobook. I've got the hard copy coming. Yeah, I can't wait. And what Carlos and I do, that's my husband. And if you are new to the channel, we make videos together where we started off debating this case. Okay. I think that's going to take a huge turn now, but we will see. Altruistic murder. That's okay. You can always catch on replay, but I do love having you in here in the chat, but I understand. I used to always be so bummed when I'd miss things because I'm working. But yeah, my husband and I, we read Howard Bloom's book, and then we would focus on a couple chapters at a time. We would make a video where we discussed it. We gave you the information, but then also gave our thoughts and opinions, got us to debate a little bit. We're going to do the same thing with this book. So not only will I be having my lives, I will have videos to post with Carlos and I. So yeah. All right. The only information that I saw in chat was that Custody Queens are supposed to be having the author live tonight at 5 p.m. Eastern time, I believe. And then Birdie is also having him on tonight, but I didn't catch the time for that one. If anybody wants to post links for those things, please, mods, do that. I didn't do a like check today. Let me check how many likes we got going on. Please hit that like button on your way out if you wouldn't mind. Oh, I can't see. I can't see the number, but I greatly appreciate that. We did get it up over 100 likes yesterday. I do think that sends YouTube a message like, people are watching and enjoying, and kind of promote your channel a little bit more, which I greatly need. So I appreciate that. Dig the past. Oh, that's awesome. You clean rental cottages. I have a friend who has a couple rental cottages, and she was talking about having she needed a cleaner. I'm like, hey, I just retired. Like, I could do that. I could do that. Birdie's is at 8 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Central. So if it's at 8 p.m. Eastern, it would probably be at 5 p.m. Pacific. Pacific time is 3 hours before Eastern, right? So, all right, this is going to be amazing. Amazing. We get to have the author all night tonight. I'm excited. Thanks, Altruistic. I appreciate you guys. Go take a break, get some snacks, get some popcorn ready. It's going to be a whole night of Christopher Whitcomb and learning more about the book Broken Plea. And I will be back tomorrow at my normal time, My normal time is sometime between 11:30 a.m. Eastern and noon Eastern. I've been struggling lately starting right at 11:30 a.m. I apologize for that. So somewhere between 11:30 a.m. and noon Eastern time. I will see you guys there, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you to everybody who donated a super sticker or super chat today, membership. Much appreciated. And I will see you guys in the chats the rest of the day. Bye.
Thanks for watching, hope you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. Subscribe, it's free and keeps us going strong. You're part of the crew now, right where you belong. Join us next time, same truth, same fire. We bring the heat and never tire. We're typically unique and proud to be a husband and wife in podcast harmony. Be unique, yeah, that's you and me. Don't forget to like and hit subscribe, it's free. Come back again, we'll be right here with truth and laughs and zero fear. We don't always agree, but that's the show. One love, two minds, letting it flow. We dig deep with crack jokes, we called it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. We don't always agree, but that's the show. One love, two minds, letting it flow. We dig deep with crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. We don't always agree, but you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. We dig deep with crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. Thanks for watching, hope you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. It's free, it keeps us going strong. You're part of the crew, now right where you belong. Join us next time, same truth, same fire. We bring the heat and never tire. We're typically unique and proud to be a husband and wife and proud to be a husband and wife in podcast harmony. Yeah, that's you and me, that's you and me. Don't forget to like, hit subscribe, it's free. Come back again, we'll be right here with truth and laughs and zero fear.